lesson 5 quiz quickly. Pericardium is a fibrous fluid-filled sac, and I'm in a small book, lesson 5 quiz. Pericardium is a fibrous fluid-filled sac. True or false? Well, that is true. You remember the pericardium is like a balloon that encompasses the heart, acts as a shock absorber, so that you really don't feel the movement of the heart within your chest unless it's beating really hard. So it acts as a shock absorber. Explain the cardiac cycle. Question 2. Cardiac cycle is very simple. When the upper chambers are relaxing, the bottom chambers are contracting, and then vice versa. You never have everything contracting at the same time. You never have everything relaxing at the same time. That's the cardiac cycle. Don't confuse that with cardiac circulation, which is the tracing the flow of the blood through the heart. Number 3, name the 3 layers of the heart. Well, we went through that just a moment ago on the other video. Starting from the inside, the endocardium. What is significant about the endocardium? That is the structure that comprises the heart valves, keeps the blood moving all in one direction. Myocardium, the muscle, of course that is responsible for the contraction which moves the blood. And epicardium, which is a thin mucus producing layer around the heart which acts as a lubricant because your heart is moving in your chest when it's beating. If you have something that's moving, it needs some kind of a lubrication. That way you don't produce lesions on the heart from it abrading against other organs in the chest. What is the lifespan of a red blood cell? Lifespan of a red blood cell is about 120 days. And number 5, superior and inferior vena cava supplies blood to, that would be C, the right atrium. The superior vena cava draining blood from the head, neck, and shoulders, and then the inferior vena cava draining blood from the shoulders down into the right atrium so it can begin its path through the heart. Explain circulation, respiration, and the heart. Circulation, of course, is the movement of blood, and when it says explain, then they're looking for the tracing of the blood through the heart, out of the heart through the arteries, through the arterioles, through the capillaries, and then back up through the venous capillaries, the venules, the veins, and back into the heart. That is systemic circulation. Respiration is the exchange of oxygen for carbon dioxide in the lungs. And the heart, what's the heart have to do with all of that? Well, the heart is the pump that moves the blood so that you can have circulation and respiration. It's pretty simple. The upper layer of the heart is called the ventricles. Well, no, that's not true. Upper layer would be the atria, and the lower 2 chambers are the ventricles. Draw a diagram of a tube of blood and label each layer. There's a good picture of that in your book, in your big book, so just refer to that. I'm not going to draw something you can refer to in the book. Name the 3 layers of the vein and explain their function. Well, you've got 3 layers in the veins, just as you have 3 layers in the heart and 3 layers in the arteries. So in the vein, and they're going to be the same thing, you have the tunica adventitia, the tunica intima, which is the inner layer, and the tunica intima is just a layer of epithelial cells. The middle layer, the tunica media, same as the artery, it's a muscle layer. That muscle layer allows the arteries to expand and to contract, as well as the veins to expand and contract, to help regulate your blood pressure. And then the tunica adventitia in the vein, that is a very thick layer on the exterior of the vein, and what that does is helps to protect the vein. These veins are very close to the surface and they are susceptible to injury. So they have to be very thick and tough on the exterior. The tunica adventitia of the artery is not as tough, it's just more rigid. It's not susceptible to injury so much so because it's deeper in the body. Okay. And then describe the following components of the blood. The red blood cell. What's important about the red blood cell is transportation of oxygen. That's where the oxygen molecule bonds to be transported throughout the body. White blood cells. The white blood cells protect your body from pathogens and allergens. And platelets. Platelets are responsible for the initial clotting response when you have an injury. Platelets become very sticky, they stick together. It's called platelet aggregation, and that begins to form a clot. So that is lesson 5 review, and I'll post up another video for lesson 6 review as well as lesson 6 content.